Right. All right. Okay. Assalamu alaikum to everyone. Welcome back again to our Sunday meeting.
Okay. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam. We're gonna start inshallah 22nd letter, 22nd topic with inshallah with the participation of our panelists, Kul Najam from UK and Hikmat Najam from Arizona. Inshallah today, let's begin to a new topic and let's have some good discussion, inshallah. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, wa salatu wa salam ala Rasulina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Bismillah ar-Rahman. All right, 22nd letter, second topic. In the name of God, the merciful, the compassionate. Verily God, it is who gives all sustenance, Lord of power and steadfast, from 51-58. Then how many are the creatures that carry not their own sustenance? It is God who provides for them and for you. He is all hearing, all knowing. 29-60. O people of belief, you will have understood by now how harmful enmity is. Understand too that greed is another awesome disease, as harmful for the life of Islam as enmity. Greed brings about disappointment, deficiency, and humiliation. It is the cause of deprivation and abjection. The humiliation and abjection of people who have leaped greedily upon the world is a decisive proof of this truth. Greed demonstrates its evil effects throughout the animate world, from the most universal of species to the most particular of individuals. To seek out one's sustenance while placing one's trust in God will, by contrast, bring about tranquility and demonstrate everywhere its beneficent effects. Thus, fruit trees and plants, which are a species of animate being insofar as they require sustenance, remain contentedly rooted where they are, placing their trust in God and not evincing any greed. It is for this reason that their sustenance hastens toward them. They breed too far more offspring than do the animals. The animals, by contrast, pursue their sustenance greedily, and for this reason can attain it only imperfectly and at the cost of great effort. Within the animal kingdom, it is only the young who, as it were, evince their trust in God by proclaiming their weakness and impotence. Hence, it is that they receive in full measure their rightful and delicate sustenance from the treasury of divine mercy. But savage beasts that pounce greedily on their sustenance can hope only for an illicit and coarse sustenance attained through the expenditure of great effort. These two examples show that greed is the cause of deprivation, while trusting God and contentment are the means to God's mercy. Let's just stop for a second and maybe we can just gather our thoughts. And so far, maybe we can just give a prelude, like some examples from our own experience, or maybe just we would like to share some ideas and so far what we have read. And I would like to go back to our panelists and who would like to, let me ask, who would like to go first to begin with? Kulnujam or Hikmarujam?
Always calling Abi.
Kulnavi. Okay.
Since he said always, I object. It should be Hikmet. Arizona is closer to you.
All right. Arizona is closer to me. All right, then. Hikmet please.
Yeah, I think it's just clear, but I just wanted to say
Mhm,
again that we discussed a lot about the enmity,
mhm,
and one of the most important or lifestyle diseases is just what I would say is that what Ustad is saying clearly, that the greed, which is one of the most important part, and then we will discuss a lot about the all the creatures, then how they do and to obtain their sustenance, either by greedy or just to really working great with the great effort to just thinking about that, I can do everything by my effort. Yeah, excuse me. So remember that and if you hear that the number of people they say, hey, I came to this level by
mhm,
from scratching everything with my fingers or nails, and I did everything by myself and everything, you
mhm,
can easily understand that they lost a lot of things. And from humanity, animals, and plants, that there are a lot of great examples here.
mhm,
And we know that everything is under God's control, Allah's control, right? And then
mhm,
everything is sustained by the Allah. So Allah is the one that who's just leading everything, governing everything. So all
mhm,
we need to do is just do whatever we are supposed to do, and then just with the content and saying Alhamdulillah, and as well as that
mhm,
um, with the qanaat. So that's what I wanted to say. I guess
mhm,
that's. And then there's an animals, for instance, and trees is staying there, and then Allah is sending all the sustenance to them,
mhm,
and they don't do anything, but they do
mhm,
have a lot of things that they can do. Let's say they are fruit, for instance, they breed a lot of fruit compared to animals, and without doing anything. So this
mhm,
is clear that it's just coming, or sustenance is coming
mhm,
completely through Allah. Everything is coming from Allah, but this is just a one example. But the
mhm,
animals, when you think about it, they're running around to get their sustenance, and with the lots of efforts, and still that they have like one or two fruits, let's just say fruit, compared to trees, or breed one or two
mhm,
little tiny fruit or animal, and then they cannot just get as much as all the trees. And sun is working for the trees, soil is working all the trees, and all the microbes, microorganism in the soil, under the soil, is working for the trees, and trees is just doing there, sitting there. And then little babies or the humanities is the same thing.
yeah.
And yeah, so all the that's why I said the lifestyle of greed is a lifestyle diseases in
Mhm,
human,
mhm,
or life of Islam.
mhm,
Yeah,
mhm.
that's I think that's all I can say right now.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Hikmet Thank you.
I thank you.
All right. Yeah, all right, let's go back to then Konlajan. Konlajan.
Yeah, greed is a very interesting thing, really.
Yeah.
I think greed is all about first of all control.
Mhm,
It's all about we are aware of our impotence and how easy it would be to not survive.
mhm,
And so greed is a kind of manic desire for plenty, for more.
mhm,
And it's all to do with the fact that deep down we know that we need risk to survive.
mhm,
And so at the moment, you can see how many people are spiritually, how can I say, spiritually impoverished by the size of their stomachs. Obesity is at an all-time high,
mhm.
mostly in the Western world.
Right.
So there's a kind of relationship, inverse relationship
Mhm,
with psychological distress,
mhm,
psycho-spiritual distress, and the weight and the fact that people are clinically or morbidly obese.
right.
That's just one manifestation of greed.
Mhm,
So we
mhm,
want to consume because we know that
mhm,
consuming is what keeps us alive. And
mhm,
because we're scared of dying, we're scared of not having. Uh, we consume more and more. It becomes a
yeah.
kind of pathology, literally.
Yeah.
becomes pathologically harmful. I mean, it is a disease.
Mhm.
And Allah shows us by creating the animals in certain ways. We
Mhm.
say that, animals are greedy, they have to run around for their sustenance. This is how they're created. They're created
Mhm.
in order to be models for us to look at and to take
Mhm.
lessons from. And we
Yeah.
see that on the tree of life,
Mhm.
if you see it as a pyramid, then those who are at the bottom of the pyramid, animate beings, those who are the most arges,
Mhm.
have the most easy sustenance. They have the easiest ride. Like here, Ustad gives the example of trees.
Mhm.
Trees are rooted to the spot. They are comparatively more arduous than animals because they can't move, and yet everything comes to
Mhm.
them.
Yeah.
And then when you go up the scale, we come to animals. They have to run for their sustenance. Some of them, some not. For example, Ustad mentions fishes. Fish
Mhm.
who, are rather stupid, he says, or maybe low in intellect, and they
Yeah.
just move in the water with their mouths open, and
Yeah.
things come to them.
Mhm.
So not all animals are created equally in that sense. But then when it comes to human beings,
Mhm.
we are the most arduous,
Mhm.
and we have to devise the most intellectually challenging ways,
Mhm.
perhaps, of finding livelihood. We have to run around for our livelihood. It doesn't just come to us, unless we're very small children.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
running around um, for more than you actually need is a kind of pathology as well. And we know that from the narratives in Quran, whole
Mhm.
communities, because of their greed, were punished. For example, you sell a kilo of tomatoes to someone, but actually you only give them 800 grams in the packet. So you
Mhm.
undersell and you
Yeah.
overprice. This is greed. It's greed for profit.
Yeah. Yeah.
And actually, Allah destroyed whole communities. He obliterated them
Mhm.
because this is not like zina. Zina may affect a family or two
Mhm.
families or three families, but underselling and overcharging, uh, as you know, because you're an economist, it
Mhm.
affects the whole of society.
All society
It
is
has
so.
a knock-on effect. So
Yes.
uh, greed, capitalism, cutthroat capitalism,
Mhm.
it thrives on greed and waste
Mhm.
because it's all about growing the economy. I mean, why does the economy always have to grow? It's driven by greed, and we see the effects of this. We see
Mhm.
it on an individual level, in the size of people's stomach,
Mhm.
and we see it in the greed in society. We see that there's this longing for more, this desire to consume more and more.
Mhm.
Useless things, not just, I don't mean just physically consume, but the books that we consume, the cultural items that we consume, are the entertainment system, the music industry,
Mhm.
the whole uh, setup of television and entertainment.
Mhm. Yeah.
This is all from greed. This is all from over-consuming,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
over-consuming makes you sick. And we live in
Yeah.
sick societies,
Yeah.
unfortunately, both physically sick and also spiritually sick. Thanks.
Exactly. Exactly. I agree. I agree. And it's yeah. It's just basically talks about in just that in another kind of just treatise and talking about like how overconsumption and not, of course, I'm just now looking into just balancing our like in every single, like you mentioned, activities like obesity, like eating, consumption, and everything is like how it conceals, right, our basically just everyday sugar, right? So like, we have to be thankful every single day in order to understand and practice, of course. I mean, just contemplating Allah, but basically all these activities, unfortunately, is just somehow like another obstacle in our path. Thank you. Yeah, these are great comments, and let's just continue. And while we are also just thinking about like maybe more examples and go in directly, just more going deeper, inshallah. All right. Okay. In the human kingdom, continues. In the human kingdom, Some peoples have clung to the world more greedily and have loved its life with more passion than any others. But the usurious wealth they have gained with great efforts is merely illicit property over which they exercise temporary stewardship, and it benefits them little. It earns them, on the contrary, the blows of abjection and humiliation, of death and insult that are rained down on them by all peoples. This shows that greed is a source of humiliation and loss. There are, in addition, so many instances of a greedy person being exposed to loss that the greedy is subject to disappointment and loss has become a universally accepted truth. This being the case, if you love wealth, seek it not with greed, but with contentment, so that you may have it in abundance. The content and the greedy are like two men who enter the audience hall of a great personage. One of them says to himself, "It is enough that he should admit me so that I can escape from the cold outside. Even if he motions me, even if he motions me to sit in the lowest position, I will count it as a kindness." The second man says arrogantly, as if he had some right in the matter and everyone were obliged to respect him, "I should be assigned the highest position." He enters with greed and fixes his gaze on the highest positions, wishing to advance toward them. But the master of the audience hall turns him back and seats him in a lower position. Instead of thanking him as he should, he is angered against him in his heart and criticizes him. The lord of the palace will be offended by him. The first man enters most humbly and wishes to sit in the lowest position. His modesty pleases the lord of the audience hall, and he invites him to sit in a higher position. His gratitude increases, and his thankfulness is augmented. Now, this world is like an audience hall of the most merciful one. The surface of the globe is like a banqueting spread laid out by his mercy. The differing degrees of sustenance and grades of bounty correspond to the seating positions in the audience hall. Furthermore, even in the minutest of affairs, everyone can experience the evil effects of greed. For example, everyone knows in his heart that when two beggars request something, he will be offended by the one who greedily importunates him and refuse his request, whereas he will take pity on the peaceable one and give him what he asks. Or to give one another example, if you are unable to fall asleep at night and wish to do so, you may succeed if you remain detached. But if you desire sleep greedily and say, let me sleep, then sleep will quit you entirely. Yet another example is this, that if you greedily await the arrival of someone for some important purpose and continually say, it still hasn't come, ultimately you will lose patience and get up and leave. But 1 minute later, the person will come and your purpose will be frustrated. The reason for all this is as follows. The production of a loaf of bread requires a field to be cultivated and harvested, the grain to be taken to a mill, and the loaf to be baked in an oven. So too, in the arrangement of all things, there is a certain slow deliberation decreed by God's wisdom. If on account of greed one fails to act with slow deliberation, one will fail to notice the steps one must mount in the arrangement of all things. He will either fall or be unable to traverse the steps, and in either event will not reach his goal. Let's stop here. I think like there are great examples, and I believe that we're gonna exchange some good examples regarding to these what Ustad is now just going into human kingdom. Maybe we can just use our own experiences and everything, and at the same time maybe we can think about different parts of Risala and to like exchange some good ideas and opinions, inshallah. And let's go back to Hikmat Hojam. So, and what would you like to say for so far what Ustad has given from Human Kingdom and plus many examples?
There are great examples that we can just easily. I think it's clear, and
Mhm,
all the examples. But I just wanted to say one thing is that greed, like working with the greedily, and then trying to understand that or obtain or trying to earn that more um, wealth, and as well as that there's some other stuff. It's just a temporary stewardship. That's what we need to understand.
mhm,
Actually, that more than what you need is just in the past. I remember that when I was little, and when we have some little farms, and then when everybody asked my grandfather, and is this your place? And he always says, I mean, I still remember he always said that, hey, we're just protecting or doing stewardship, or we were bekçi. That's what he said. Okay, all the time. That means that if you have some kind of ownership, that, or if you are just assuming that this is mine, it's just a temporary stewardship that you are having more than what you need. This is what brings you is just trying to
mhm,
um, stewardship, and then it has a little benefits because you know that what you can eat, what you can spend as a
mhm,
human with your, including your family. So
mhm,
this is what I wanted to say, that the greedy is just may bring you some more things sometimes, not
mhm,
always,
mhm,
but it is just something that you are just trying to be guarding or stewardship. But the
mhm,
good thing is that here study is clearly saying if you love the all wealth,
mhm,
contentment is one of the things that you need to ask from Allah so that you can get whatever you want to get. I mean, or more than what you need to get. Otherwise, you are going to lose with the greedy, that you are going to definitely lose. And we saw lots of examples, and
mhm,
Ustad gave a lot of great examples, and you can see that the beggars as well. We see
mhm,
that on the street a lot of time,
mhm,
and if somebody is just humble and just sometimes shy to ask, even beg you money, so you always, this is the futrat, okay, this is our characteristics, and we give them more compared to
mhm,
somebody that, hey, give me this, give me that, or I want this or something. This is
mhm.
really clear. And
Yeah.
contentment is just something, or yeah, is one of the most important parts. There are other examples, maybe Colin, we can talk about it, but I just wanted
Mhm,
to say one thing is that if
mhm,
what I understood is that if I understood my goal, responsibilities, and job in the
mhm.
in here, then which is like imani billah, marifatullah, muhabbatullah, right?
Yeah.
That's just our job, the reason why we are created, and goal, responsibility, and job. Then greedy is going to be affecting, or that type of disease is going to affect our mind,
Mhm,
heart, and soul really less.
mhm,
Otherwise, I mean, everybody wants to do more and more. And I
mhm,
can give you one example from the university parts.
mhm,
Like 2 years ago, I was giving this example as well. That I said, "Hey, I have 150 or 200 papers. I want to do another paper, publish another paper, 201."
mhm.
And that is just giving you, that's just coming from the greediness, I
Yeah.
guess. That's, yeah. And but if you
Yeah.
understand, you can write, you can work
Yeah.
hard, and if
Right.
you wanted to publish another one, that's a great thing. But
Right.
the main goal
Mhm,
that you are here in this world is, if you understand and responsibility, goal, and job, then you will be doing your what you need to do, but
Mm-hmm.
the main job is looking at what is that? Praying, number one, right? We need to do
Mm-hmm.
that. And Ali Abi, 2 years ago, he was saying that Ali Abi Greedy is coming then, for instance, I wanted to publish in 250 papers or something, or 260.
Mm-hmm.
Then you can do that if you want to. But when the prayer times comes, leave
Mm-hmm.
everything aside, okay? Then go pray. Or if you're doing like a farming, leave everything there, go pray. This is the prayer time because this is my goal, this is my responsibility, this is number one job. That's why I'm here in this world, but I will still do the other things. So this
Yeah.
helps the greediness a lot.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I wanted to say. I guess I
Yeah.
talked too much.
Thank you, Konuşacağım. Yeah, good examples, good examples. Now, let's go back to Konuşacağım. So, anything that you'd like to add, or maybe just share with us, your own experience, or maybe more examples and whatnot.
Uh, my own experience of being greedy.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We're not supposed to expose
No, no, of
our
course,
own
not just
faults.
from what your observation. Yeah, yeah,
No, but I can give you lots of examples of when I've been greedy
certainly,
and
certainly.
when I've suffered for it,
Yeah.
and not just greedy with
Mm-hmm.
consuming food, but
Mm-hmm.
anyway, we're not supposed to expose our own expose our own sins and weaknesses. Uh,
Of course not. I'm just, yeah.
no, I know.
Yeah.
I don't mind, but I know
Mm-hmm.
it's not liked.
Mm-hmm.
But if you want a personal experience, I remember once I was
Mm-hmm.
going by bus by
Mm-hmm.
Greyhound from Salt Lake City to San Francisco,
Mm-hmm.
and we crossed Nevada and we stopped at Reno.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know whether anyone's been there.
Mm-hmm.
Reno is like the poor man's Las Vegas.
Yeah.
So we stopped there because we needed to eat something, and
Mm-hmm.
they
Mm-hmm.
took us to a casino.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'd never been inside a casino before,
Mm-hmm.
and all I saw was like hundreds and hundreds of people playing these, the slot machines.
Mm-hmm.
You put money in and you try
Mm-hmm.
to win more
Mm-hmm.
money, and everyone there was clinically obese,
Yeah. Yeah.
or maybe even morbidly obese. And
Mm-hmm.
I saw two things. One is fat people trying to get more money.
Mm-hmm.
And this, to me, this is all I remember from Reno. Now, they may have
Mm-hmm.
been very nice people, they may be innocent in their intentions,
Of
but
course.
this was a long time ago. So you can
Mm-hmm.
imagine, you can
Mm-hmm.
imagine what
Yeah.
it's like now.
Of course.
Even when I go to a large city in the UK, because
Mm-hmm.
I live in a very small village, really.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, and when I go to a large city, I'm always shocked by how fat people are. Of course, you can't say fat anymore.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You have to
Unfortunately.
use euphemisms.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I think it's to do with, first of all, it's to do with the inability to deal with our
Mm-hmm.
ads.
Mm-hmm.
It's also lack of control,
Yeah.
because control has been taken out of our hands by our governments, or
Mm-hmm.
over hundreds of years, to the extent where the only thing we can control, or we think,
Mm-hmm.
is how we consume. We have the only thing we have control over is our own bodies.
Yeah.
And even actually, we know that we don't have any control over them, but I'm talking about the general zeitgeist, the general spirit, cultural spirit in society is that we have control over our own bodies. And this is why so many of us are fat or
Yeah.
overweight,
Yeah.
because we have a spiritual defect.
Mm-hmm.
We are greedy,
Mm-hmm.
and it expresses itself,
Mm-hmm.
the body will bear witness against us, in the next world. It says our hands will speak out against us. Well, our
Right.
bodies are already speaking out against us, even in
Yeah.
this world, you know,
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
talking about our greed, talking about our inability to deal with our
Mm.
existential poverty. And
Yeah.
it's also this sense of entitlement.
Right.
People think that they are entitled to this, entitled to that. And
Mm-hmm.
I think this is because we live in a welfare
Mm-hmm.
society,
Mm-hmm.
where everything is, in the USA, maybe not quite so much as here, but I mean,
Mm-hmm.
people in this country are on benefits, so
Mm-hmm.
they don't work because if they go to work, they're not going to get as much as they can get
Mm-hmm.
by not working and by getting government handouts. And
Yeah.
this actually is very dangerous, very bad for society. I know
Right.
that in this country, for example, we have this National Health Service,
Mm-hmm.
which costs billions and billions and billions, and we have a benefit system. Now,
Mm-hmm.
some people need to be helped, right?
Mm-hmm.
Some
Yeah.
people definitely need to be helped, but many people abuse the system
Yeah. They're taking
because they have
advantage.
been raised to think that they deserve things.
Mm-hmm.
We don't deserve anything, actually. When you think about it, we
Mm-hmm.
don't deserve anything. Whatever is given is a bounty. And yet, because we don't believe in Allah, I'm talking in a general sense, we
Mm-hmm.
believe in the state, and the
Mm-hmm.
state has raised us to think that we need to depend on them, and so we do. And when they don't give us what we want, we have a sense of entitlement,
Mm-hmm.
and this breaks society down completely. And it's led by greed. Greed is encouraged
Mm-hmm.
because consumption is encouraged, because otherwise the wheels of cutthroat capitalism
Mm-hmm.
won't turn.
Of course.
So we have to waste food.
Mm-hmm.
Here, every household wastes at least a third of whatever they buy every week at the supermarket, at the mall.
Yeah.
A
Yeah.
third of it is wasted. Can you imagine?
Yeah.
Billions and
Yeah.
billions of
Mm-hmm.
pounds worth of food are wasted and just thrown into landfills. So this is greed, and that greed turns the economy. We know the economy is completely broken.
Mm-hmm.
We're living on borrowed money,
Yeah.
money that's just printed. You know
Mm-hmm.
better than I do all of the ins and outs of,
So yeah, yeah.
how
Mm.
broken the economy is,
Of
and
course.
it's because of our greed, and this pathology that we have of we deserve this, we deserve
Mm-hmm.
that, I deserve to be like this, I deserve to be treated like that.
Mm-hmm.
This is it's completely destroying not
Mm-hmm.
just Western civilization, but human civilization.
Yeah, yeah, unfortunately it does. Yeah. And there's like in a fake, just environment and fake paradise or something like this, I mean, that has been put around us is concealing everything, just like this, or what Allah is asking from us. Like, He's been like given and given. And instead, of course, when they just turned all the attention to greed and conceals all this like thankfulness, all that opportunity that just what we are supposed to be, and but we don't want to do it. And of course, like you just mentioned, continue consuming, and of course, wasting food and everything, which is totally opposite of being thankfulness. Yeah, unfortunately. And maybe just we can go back to our participants, and maybe I can invite brother Okonojam. So would you like to say something on this? Share your opinions with us?
Inshallah, later I will contribute.
Okay, all right then, inshallah. Anyone else, Brother Ali or someone else? I think yeah, we don't have anyone else. All right.
There
Okay,
are
so
some things in the chat.
uh yeah, I think I saw it, yeah, but yeah, there are some. Oh, I
Maybe,
see.
may,
Yeah.
may, maybe
Yeah,
you don't want to
I
read
think
them
you
out.
answered. Yeah,
Maybe
thank you
people
so
can
much for answering that.
look in the chat if they want to see it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. All right then, yeah.
You
Okay.
can say those things there, but I can't say those things here,
Me neither.
unfortunately.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't want to even
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
utter anything.
I mean, I say them in private, but I can't say
Yeah,
them in public.
exactly.
It
Yeah.
may cost us the channel.
Exactly. So I don't want to, yeah, just maybe we can keep it there, and inshallah, all brothers and sisters, they can read it over there. So yeah, let's
Maybe
keep.
I want to say one quick thing. Then
Oh, please,
bread example. Bread
please.
example. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. Ustad gave a great example on that, and we need to understand that, like greediness or greedy effort. It seems like it's easy, but bread example is really great an example in terms of understanding the law of Allah, Sunnatullah law.
Mhm.
So basically, that if you want to reach your goal, if you want
Mhm.
to accomplish something, you need to understand that there are steps and you need to take. Otherwise, that you will make mistakes, or what I would call is that the quick and dirty job, then you will fail. For instance, that I was giving one example, that I have this paper, I want to write another paper. And if you want to do really quickly and then without taking all these steps and everything, that's looking at carefully, you can easily fail, or you can have a quick and dirty job that the second job is not going to be complete. So this is a great example that in order to have the bread, I mean, that Sunnatullah law, that means that the God's wisdom is clearly that explaining us that just moving forward with the greediness is not going to make you reach your goal or help you reach your goal. And you need to take the steps, and then everything is just under that one control and God's wisdom. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Exactly. Yeah, thanks a lot, Hocam. All right. Okay, let's maybe we can continue.
I have something.
Please go ahead.
Yes. First of all, let me introduce myself. My name is Farad. I am from Iraq.
Yes, right.
I'm really glad to meet this meeting, and it's really beneficial for me.
Thank you.
I just want to focus on a word that Ustad Badi'uzzaman uses in the example that he says two people went to, which is here in I read in Kurdish language by myself. Muslim, if you find in English word, I don't know what. Yes, when they are guests. The word guest, I mean, he's deliberately used this word in the Rasail in many places just to remind us that in this world we are only a guest. When someone is a guest in a house, he realized that this is not his own house and this is temporary. For a period of time you stay, and later on you will leave this house. So if you are temporary in a place, you will not to be too much happy about the place, even if the place full of many precious things. You just think about it as a temporary situation and you leave it. So this one is the same. Even if you have many things, you will leave them. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, I totally appreciate it.
I
Yeah,
say something also? Sorry.
please.
Hi there. Assalamu alaikum. I'm Fatih from Adana, Turkey.
Yeah,
Teacher of
nice to
English.
meet you. Yeah, thanks a lot. Thanks for joining us.
We
Thank you.
haven't met most of you, but it's very nice to be here also.
Yes, likewise.
We have to make the difference between hardworking and being greedy, I think. It's very important. Some of our brothers, they trust in Allah, they make tawakkul, but sometimes I think we misunderstand that. We should be hardworking, but then, we should rely on Allah's wisdom. I think we must also think about that. This is not being greedy, You do your best to achieve something, then leave it, trust in Allah, then. Sometimes we make a mistake about this, I think. What do you think?
Oh, that's a good question. Yeah, exactly. Being hardworking and of course, yeah, just yeah. Oh, that's a good question. Let's maybe just open the floors like Konlucam, would you like to comment on this? Being hardworking
Yeah, he's
versus
right. He's
yeah,
right. I
yeah.
mean,
That's a good point. Yeah.
it's a very good point. Being
hmm
greedy is
hmm
different from being hardworking. Even you're
hmm
working to make more wealth for your family, that's
hmm
not greed.
hmm
Because if you're living in a society where there's not a
hmm
benefit system, then you need to
Yeah.
work hard.
hmm
Working hard isn't being greedy. Working hard is doing what you're supposed to do anyway. We're supposed to work hard whatever we do.
hmm
The fact that you're paid for it or not paid for it, or paid little for it or paid a lot for it, is a
hmm
secondary issue. But if you are earning everything that you need with
hmm
3 hours a day
hmm
work, and you're comfortable, why would you want to work more than that? I mean, you can,
hmm
if you're going to spend the money wisely. and in the way of Allah, work as much as you want. That's not greed, really. Greed is the desire to consume things that we don't need because our nafs likes them.
Yeah.
I think there has to be a defining
Mhm.
criterion of what
Mhm.
greed is. But hardworking, even being rich, doesn't
Mhm.
mean that the person is greedy, because Suleiman,
Mhm.
alayhi salam,
Mhm.
was a prophet and was also the richest man in the
Mhm.
world at that time.
Yeah.
So there's no causation. What do they say? Correlation is not causation.
Correlation.
Just
Yeah.
because, yeah, someone is rich doesn't
Mhm.
mean that they're greedy, or someone is,
Mhm.
very, very wealthy, or
Yeah.
someone is hardworking and they may be poor
Mhm.
and only making enough just to survive.
Yeah. And plus, just because like you're working hard, or maybe just your added value could be appreciated much more than others' participation, right? So like maybe
Yeah,
just like Ustad Buddhism, like he says, like you're not seeking the greed, like with greed, but you're content, but somehow your participation in the society may be appreciated way, 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 like 10 times, maybe even 100 times more than the others. So then you're being given a lot more than the others. That doesn't mean that you're greedy, but you're valued a lot. Yeah. So maybe you have a talent, you have skills or something, maybe better than someone else. That doesn't mean like you're greedy. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. I hope, yeah. Anyone else?
Uh, I just want to say one thing, yeah,
Mhm.
about the hardworking, and I was trying to just explain a couple minutes ago. Hardworking is a great thing to do, especially for Muslims. I think that we all have to have really great hardworking.
Mhm.
What I was going to say is that our main goal, why are we here,
Mhm.
is has to be or should be really helpful. That
Mhm.
what is that the hardworking, and what we where to stop.
Mhm.
Actually, if we rank our goals, why are we here? And if
Right.
we just understand the goal, our goal, responsibility, and job,
Mhm.
the main goal, main job, and main responsibility, the
Mhm.
rest is that what we need to do. Meaning that why are we here? And
Mhm.
then that's our goal, main goal. I want to
Absolutely.
say that
Absolutely.
yeah.
Mhm.
After that, our hard working is really allowed, and then actually that we need to really work hard.
Mhm.
And then
Mhm.
after that, then we will have to tawakkul in saying that, okay, we are going to do everything that we need to do, then the rest of Allah's job. We cannot just intervene, or we cannot just say anything to Allah's job, right? That's just Allah's
Mhm.
um, responsibility. Everything is Allah's responsibility. But this
Right.
is what we need to understand is main goal, main ranking of our goals. When you rank our goals, main goals,
Mhm.
and then the rest is we can do whatever we wanted to do. If you want to work in two different jobs, go ahead
Mhm.
and do it. But if
Yeah.
don't miss your main goals, don't
Absolutely.
miss your main
Mhm.
responsibility, don't miss your main job. Other
Mhm.
than that, the rest is that everybody, well, we all need to work hard. And I was
Mhm.
giving one example. I said 150 on papers I published. I want to publish 151. Go ahead and do it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
if you miss your main job or main goal,
Right.
which is that, yeah, the imani billah, marifetullah, in other risales, we know that what our
Mhm.
main job, main goal, why are we here?
Right.
Then the rest, you can do that. You can do 500. It doesn't matter. Go ahead
Mhm.
and do it. But
Yeah.
don't miss your main
Mhm.
job or main goal. Why are
Mhm.
we here? And
Mhm.
ranking our goals is going to
Mhm.
be number one. This is number one. Why am I here? Number two, and what do I need to do in
Mhm.
addition to do, like, right, to get the sustenance and
Yeah.
to maintain my life, and maintain, or not
Mhm.
maintaining, just applying some job things and to your family and everything. Everything is clear, but
Mhm.
this is how we can, or how I can separate the hardworking
Mhm.
and not greediness. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, that's a good point here, Mujab. Yeah, definitely. So just prioritize our position like in life, or just like our jobs, like as you mentioned, our task. So, and just to know and distinguish between them. Yeah, that is important. Yeah, thanks. Great points. let's just maybe we still have 10 more minutes. Maybe we can just finish the last part and these examples, and maybe just we can conclude from there. Oh, brothers, giddied by preoccupation with your livelihood and drunk on your greed for this world. Greed is harmful and pernicious. How is it then that you commit all kinds of abject deed for the sake of your greed, accept all kinds of wealth without concern for licit or illicit, and sacrifice much of the hereafter? On account of your greed, you even abandon one of the most important pillars of Islam, the payment of zakat, although zakat is for everyone a means of attracting plenty and repelling misfortune. The one who does not pay zakat is bound to lose the amount of money he would otherwise have paid. Either he will spend it on some useless object, or it will be taken from him by some misfortune. In a vicious dream that came to me during the 5th year of the First World War, the following question was put to me. What is the reason for this hunger, financial loss, and physical trial that now afflicts the Muslims? I replied in the dream, from the wealth he bestows upon us, God Almighty required from us either a tenth or a 40th, a tenth that is of wealth like corn that every year yields a new crop, and the 40th of whatever yielded a commercial profit in the course of the year, so that we may benefit from the grateful prayers of the poor, and rancor and envy may be prevented. But in our greed and covetousness, we have refused to give zakat, and God Almighty has taken from us a 30th where a 40th was owed, and an 8th where a 10th was owed. He required of us to undergo for no more than 1 month each year a hunger with 70 beneficial purposes, but we took pity on our instinctual souls and did not undergo that temporary pleasurable hunger. God Almighty then punished us by compelling us to fast for 5 years with a hunger replete with 70 kinds of misfortune. He also required of us out of each period of 24 hours, 1 hour to be spent in a form of divine drill, pleasing and sublime, luminous and beneficial. But in our laziness, we neglected the duty of prayer. That single hour was joined to the other hours and wasted. As penance, God Almighty then caused us to undergo a form of drill and physical exertion that took the place of prayer. I then awoke and upon reflection realized that an extremely important truth was contained in that dream, as proven and explained in the 25th word. When comparing modern civilization with the principles of the Quran, all immorality and instability in the social life of men proceeds from 2 sources. The first, once my stomach is full, what do I care if others die of hunger? The second, you work and I'll eat. That which perpetuates these two is the prevalence of usury and interest on the one hand, and the abandonment of zakat on the other. Now, I'd like to maybe just stop here. I think this subject we can continue next week. Up to here, I just didn't want to cut. Maybe we can just talk one more point for last like in 5 minutes up to here, and then we can continue, inshallah, where we from page 10. And I'll like pull back here. And let me just like listen to our panelists. Let's just for maybe just 2 more minutes for each. Brother Hikmat, would you like to say something?
Mine is very, very short, and then I will
Sure.
say we can discuss each one of the item in detail next week, inshallah, if possible. But whatever you were ordered, whatever you were asked, if you don't do that, or if you don't want to give that, you are going to be just taken from you. That's what I understood from this. For instance, if you don't give your zakat, whatever Allah give you, if you don't want to do that, you will be taken one way or another. This example that World War I is just clearly telling us that just clear example for each one of the individual as well. That and this is one of them, zakat. That if you are supposed to, or if you are asked, ordered by Allah that give your zakat, and if you don't want to do that, you are going to lose it, or you are going to just you were going to you are going to be taken by one way or another. Either that just some kind of musibah, or you're going to lose it, or waste. And fasting as well. If you were ordered, yeah, alhamdulillah, we are ordered to just have the fasting. If you don't do that, you will be just paying the price. That's what I understood. And praying
Right.
as well, namaz. If you don't want to do that, we are ordered. We have to be, yeah, pay one way or another. That's what I say and what I understood as a take home message from this. We can
Thank you.
discuss inshallah.
Inshallah. Thanks a lot, Hocam. Hocam, any last comments? A couple more minutes?
Not really. I agree completely with our man in Arizona there. You know, I couldn't improve on that or even try to.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. Anyone else? Any other brothers?
Can I add a point?
Please.
If we just focus on what is the damage of greediness to our personal life, religious life, or Muslim society, we can count many of them, as Ustad explains here. And the one of them, as I wrote on the messages, it's from the fifth Shua, fifth ray. In the hadith, it is said that the Sufyan, there will be a hole in his hand in the narration, or Dajjal, we don't know. And Ustad explains this, that he will be extravagant, and he will waste his money and encourage people to be wasteful. And by arousing in them an intense greed and ambition, he will hold them in subjection through that weak vein of character. It predicts that the extravagant will become captive to him and fall into his trap. So it is not about telling about how Sufyan will be. It's also telling us about his tactic, his strategy,
Strategy.
how captivating Muslims, both politically and, I mean, in belief area, I guess. So we know this Zionist system. All the people, all the famous people, they cannot talk anything about this. If they talk, they lose their job.
Yeah.
So in this century, we can see this in many different areas. If you say the truth, you will lose your job. You will not earn big money. So greediness, we should think again about this greediness from this point of view.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, good point. Yeah, that's a good part like to remember from Risala, inshallah. Yeah, that's great. And how it is captivating and how it is like basically just presenting something like it's just fake or maybe just a little bit of kind of dream that is called like an American dream or this and that. So like all these like just nonsense concepts and make people just work for this and only for that. So because it is tangible, it is for this world life, and you can attain it. And once you just capture it, of course, I'm just they give you another dream. So like go after this, and there is no point in life, like there is no time, like it's been left for you to just sit still, or maybe just contemplate what have I accomplished, or what is my purpose in this life, as other brothers, other panelists that have been like basically just emphasizing and clearly pointing out. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it was a great discussion. Yeah, thank you so much. I've just benefited a lot. Inshallah, just all of us have seen or somehow enjoyed this today's discussion. Uh, let's see. Oh, we're almost again out of time. So I'd like to go back to maybe just Mojam. So maybe just for closing this, and inshallah, why don't you just make dua and let's conclude today's meeting.
إن شاء الله. سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين. ربنا أتمم لنا نورنا واغفر لنا إنك على كل شيء قدير. ربنا لا تخرجنا من الدنيا إلا مع الشهادة والإيمان. اللهم أرنا الحق حقا وارزقنا اتباعه وأرنا الباطل باطلا وارزقنا اجتنابه. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد طب القلوب ودوائها وعافية الأبدان وشفائها والنور الأبصار وضيائها وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما كثيرا آمين والحمد لله رب العالمين.